Tassif here with another live stream. And today I'm actually a minute early. I started at 7:59 p.m. and very happy to be here Friday night. And if you have joined, I see a few people are already here. Please say hello in the live in the chat window. Give me a thumbs up, wave, or just write something. Write where you're from. Write a question, write a comment, write something so I know you're here. I'm going to be waiting for maybe a minute and a half before I start. There's a lot of interesting things to discuss. I'm going to be talking about the presidential race, and I will be discussing a few, I will be talking about potential vice president picks. Okay. I'll be mentioning a few names that actually Trump mentioned, and then I'll be sharing my views about those individuals. So it's going to be interesting. So please stay connected with me. Don't leave. Watch the entire live stream. And then my second topic would be the South Carolina primary, which is tomorrow. And I have some views to share about that. Okay, South Carolina primary. I've talked about it before. So I'm going to wait for maybe a few more seconds and then I'll start. I already see more people are joining. So let's do a countdown. 10 seconds, 8 seconds. I will go ahead and start after that. This is going to be interesting. And I want you to engage also. I want you to, as I'm talking, please share your thoughts with me in the live chat window. My friend Terry is here. Terry, thank you for being here. Terry, I think you're going to like today's discussion. So I will start. My friends, in a recent interview, Donald Trump mentioned the names of potential VP picks. He confirmed that there are 6 names on his short list. Very interesting. This list of 6 names, it's very interesting. What makes it more interesting is that this is not just a list of Republicans. In fact, there's also the name of a very prominent political figure who used to be a Democrat member of Congress. That's the interesting part. So let's talk about the list. First, the name of Ron DeSantis. He's the governor of Florida. And then the second name, and this is in no specific order. I'm just listing the names. It's not, in order of priority or anything. So Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, he's on the list. And then there's the name of Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. Next, and my friend Terry is going to like this, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. And then there's Vivek Ramaswamy, businessman. And then the name of Tim Scott is also on the list, U.S. Senator from South Carolina. And perhaps the most interesting name on the list is Tulsi Gabbard, former Democrat Congresswoman from Hawaii. And then a few names also seem to be missing, notably Elise Stefanik, Congresswoman from New York. Her name was not mentioned when Trump talked about these 6 names on his short list. And also missing is the name of Kari Lake of Arizona. Now let's dive into the discussion of each potential VP pick on this list, and let's just do some analysis. My friend, there's no doubt that this list is pretty diverse. First, we've got Ron DeSantis, governor of a major American state. And Ron DeSantis was clearly the second favorite in the presidential race on the GOP side. Trump was the front runner, is the front runner. And when there were multiple people in the race, Even then, Trump was the front runner clearly. But then, right behind him, although there was a significant margin between Donald Trump and the next person, but the next person was Ron DeSantis. He was sort of like the second favorite, but not very competitive. I mean, Trump was way ahead, and there was a big gap between the front runner Trump and the next person. But Ron DeSantis seemed to me to be the clear favorite after Trump in the 2024 presidential race on the Republican side. Now, most Republicans, overwhelming majority of Republicans, support Donald Trump for president. Those who don't, or I should say those who did not, when there were multiple people running, they were likely to support Ron DeSantis as the next favorite. But since DeSantis dropped out and endorsed Trump, it's a driving force for DeSantis supporters to start supporting Trump. So Ron DeSantis, he not only dropped out of the race, and it was a wise thing for Ron DeSantis to do, as I had mentioned before. In fact, before Ron DeSantis dropped out, I had done a video. I think it was a live stream, maybe a video, maybe a live stream, but it was on this channel that I said that Ron DeSantis should drop out and endorse Donald Trump. So DeSantis did that. It was a wise move. And what ended up happening, because of DeSantis's endorsement, DeSantis supporters then, were driven towards the Trump campaign. If supporters are supporting Ron DeSantis, those who are supporting Ron DeSantis, if they see that Ron DeSantis dropped out and he's supporting Trump, then obviously those DeSantis supporters have every reason to now support Trump. And that's what happened, I think. So now the question is, if Ron DeSantis and Trump, they appear on the same ticket, what's that ticket going to be like? I think it'll be a very, very powerful ticket. You've got Trump and you've got Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on the same ticket, Trump for president, Ron DeSantis for VP. It'll be an extremely powerful ticket. It'll be, really no words to describe. It'll be a star ticket. But then let's not forget that Trump and DeSantis in recent months had a very strong rivalry when DeSantis was running for president. And so the last several months, it's been pretty difficult, I think, when you look at the rivalry between the two. And DeSantis really didn't have a chance of getting the GOP nomination, but he was out there, and it was, there was a strong rivalry. Let's just say that. So what I'm trying to say is, it might be difficult for Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis to unite to be on the same ticket. Of course, there's unity because DeSantis endorsed Trump, and Trump was also very thankful that DeSantis endorsed him. So there's obviously unity. There's movement towards unity. They are all united because they know that the important thing is for Republicans to win back the White House. But when you look at the two personalities, I think it might be difficult for Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis to unite and be on the same ticket. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it may be a bit challenging. So I think it would be a great ticket, a great presidential ticket, but it might be challenging for the two political figures to be on the same page. So now let's talk about the next name, Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds has a strong presence. He's tough. He is strong. He's a solid conservative. And in fact, I wrote a letter to the editor, and I think this was back in October, around that time when there was a vacancy for the position of the Speaker of the House of Representatives after Kevin McCarthy departed from that position. I had written a letter to the editor that was published. I think it was published in New York Daily News, if I'm not mistaken. And in that letter to the editor, I talked about, I basically expressed my support for Byron Donalds for the position of the Speaker of the House. So if you asked me, I supported Byron Donalds for the position of the House Speaker. Well, anyway, that did not happen, but I am happy with Mike Johnson being the Speaker. Mike Johnson is a great speaker. He's doing a good job, so that's all good. But obviously, we all have our favorites. Doesn't mean that I only support Byron Donalds and no one else. No, when Mike Johnson became the Speaker, I was very happy. But if you ask me who should be the Speaker, I would have said my first choice is Byron Donalds. Anyway, I think Byron Donalds, solid conservative, he would be a great vice presidential pick. I think he would be. And let's talk about the next person now. Kristi Noem. I think picking Kristi Noem in many ways might be a better choice, a great choice. When you're talking about somebody as vice president, when I'm looking at all these names, I think Kristi Noem would be a solid choice. And I have been talking about Kristi Noem of South Dakota for a while, Governor Kristi Noem. She's a superstar. She's the governor of a beautiful state. And I know my friend Terry, who's here, I see a comment from Terry. I know Terry is going to be very happy if Kristi Noem is selected for the position of VP. Terry, what do you think? Okay, Terry writes, but they are both from Florida. I think Terry is referring to Ron DeSantis and Trump. Presidential candidates usually pick someone in another region of the country. Terry, that's a valid point. That does make sense. So what my friend Terry is saying is that Trump is from Florida. Well, Trump is originally from New York, but now he lives in Florida. So Trump is from Florida, and if he picks Ron DeSantis for VP, who is also from Florida, well, it would be great, but my friend Terry is saying that presidential candidates usually pick someone from some other region of the country. So maybe that means that Trump may not end up picking Ron DeSantis. Okay, so Kristi Noem, she's brave, she's strong, she's hardworking, she's successful. And I think picking Kristi Noem for VP would help win the support of many women voters. Women voters. We talk about suburban women voters and how important it is to win the support of suburban women voters. So if you pick Kristi Noem for VP, I think that'll be great. I think she's going to help Trump win suburban women voter support. I think that's going to be great. Let's now talk about the next name, Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, Ramaswamy, he gained a lot of attention during the presidential race. He entertained people on the debate stage. He was loud, and he was sometimes cheerful. He was outspoken, and a lot of people, in fact, folks I have personally talked to, Republicans here in Wisconsin. Many people who I personally know, who I've talked to, many have expressed their support for Vivek. And I think even on this channel, during previous live streams, I've had viewers who talked about Vivek Ramaswamy. They said they would love to see a Trump-Vivek ticket. Successful businessman, he speaks well, he's young, has energy, and what Vivek could do, I think, is if he is the VP candidate, if he's the VP pick, he could help drive millennial and Gen Z voters to support Trump. And so he might be a great pick for VP. My friend Terry writes, who would be best for 2028? Well, Terry, in politics, 4 years is a long time. So who would be best for 2028? I don't know yet. But I do know that Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy and Tim Scott, they actually kept their doors open for presidential race 2028 by dropping out and endorsing Trump, okay? Something that Nikki Haley is not doing. If Nikki Haley, and I'm going to be talking about Nikki Haley in a little bit, okay? Um, if Nikki Haley continues to be in the presidential race in spite of losing primaries and caucuses, she's basically closing the door for herself for a 2028 presidential run, okay? I mean, Trump voters are not going to forget. I mean, have we forgotten 2016, 2015? No, we have not. I know 8 years have gone by, but we have not forgotten 2016. So if Nikki Haley wants to run in the future and she wants support from Trump voters now, in 2028, it's best that she drop out and endorse Trump, but that's not something she's doing. So, the reason I'm saying this is because my friend Terry asked who would be best for 2028. Well, I'm sure Ron DeSantis, Vivek, Tim Scott, they have kept the door open. They may be running again in 2028 if I were to guess. But obviously 4 years is a long time in politics. And so who knows? There may be other names. There may be other people running. So anyway, going back to what I was saying, if Vivek becomes the VP pick, he could help drive millennial and Gen Z voters to support Trump. So that would be the advantage there. Now, if you want someone more experienced in Washington, okay, Trump probably needs someone as a vice presidential candidate who understands policymaking in the House and in the Senate. Somebody who knows how the wheels of Washington work. And because, if Trump becomes the president, he's going to need an ally. He's going to need a vice president who's going to be able to help negotiate with the folks in the legislative branch. And so in that case, should Trump pick someone who understands the Washington machine and how that works, somebody from the legislative branch? Obviously, Byron Donalds is somebody who is from the legislative branch. He's a Congress person. But I'm talking about somebody perhaps with more experience and somebody who can be a VP but also help negotiate with Washington lawmakers. And if you're thinking about somebody like that, that person would be Tim Scott. Tim Scott, he's a sitting U.S. Senator, very high profile, and he ran for president in 2024 during this cycle, during the 2024 cycle, but he dropped out and he endorsed Trump. And I watched that endorsement speech when Senator Tim Scott, Trump was standing behind him and he was in front of the podium, in front of the mic, and he was giving a very amazing speech as he was endorsing Trump. And it was just, he's got a great personality. Tim Scott, very cheerful individual. Whenever you see him on camera, on the stage, he speaks well. He's a solid conservative. And picking him for VP would add a lot of energy in the race for the White House. Let's see what my friend Terry is writing. Terry writes, yeah, Tim Scott was impressive at Fox Town Hall last night. Well, I did not watch the town hall, so I missed that. I was busy doing other things, but since Terry mentioned that, I'm gonna watch the replay of the town hall. So thank you, Terry, for that. As I keep saying, my friends, politics is unpredictable. It's not politics as usual anymore. So I have mentioned the names of 5 individuals on the Trump VP shortlist, but there's another name. And as I said, politics is unpredictable. It's not politics as usual. So what if Donald Trump picks a former Democrat congresswoman? What happens then? What if Trump picks a former Democrat congresswoman? But let me tell you, she's no longer a Democrat. She left the Democrat Party. and that's Tulsi Gabbard from Hawaii. Former Democrat, she's no longer a Democrat, and she's a great speaker. I think she has a great personality. She is knowledgeable on TV. She speaks very well. She's experienced in politics very much. And she used to be a Democrat, but then she departed from the Democratic Party. So Tulsi Gabbard is someone who can make the case for why a person should not vote Democrat, because she was a Democrat and she left the Democrat Party. So having her as a VP candidate would add a voice in the race who could say why it's a bad idea to vote Democrat. So if Tulsi Gabbard is on the ticket, she could, the question is, could she help Trump win support from Democrat voters? My friends, let me tell you, there are Democrat voters, American citizens who lean Democrat, they vote Democrat, but now they are sick and tired of inflation. There are Democrat voters who perhaps voted for Biden, but now they are sick and tired of high gas prices. They're sick and tired of inflation. They're sick and tired of global military conflicts. There are Democrat voters who are not happy with how Biden is governing. But those voters may not yet be ready for Trump. So I'm talking about those individuals who vote Democrat and they are very unhappy and they regret voting for Biden, but they are not yet ready to vote for Trump. It would be, a big step for them to vote Republican. They may not vote for Biden again. They may just sit at home and not vote, but they may not go out there and vote for Trump. So thinking about those individuals, the question is, if Tulsi Gabbard is on the ticket with Trump as VP, if Trump, if it's a Trump Gabbard ticket with Tulsi Gabbard as the VP candidate, the question is, could Tulsi Gabbard help Trump get votes from those who are not happy with the Democrats and individuals who could be convinced to support Trump? So maybe Trump needs a VP candidate who can draw votes away from the Democrat Party. So very interesting list. Ron DeSantis, Byron Donalds, Kristi Noem, and Vivek Ramaswamy, Tim Scott, Tulsi Gabbard. It's a very interesting list. Terry writes, my adult son liked her as presidential candidate. She's a Republican. Yeah, I think Tulsi Gabbard has a personality that people like. And as soon as she removed the Democrat Party affiliation, as soon as she walked away from the Democrat Party, she became a very prominent political figure that a lot of Republicans like. Okay? And so let's wait and see what happens. Now, I want to talk about Ellis Stefanik. Okay, Congresswoman Ellis Stefanik. Many people think that she would be a great VP candidate. When Trump mentioned the shortlist during an interview, he did not mention Ellis Stefanik's name on that list. Okay, 6 names on the shortlist. Ellis Stefanik's name is not on the list. Well, it is possible that there are other names on the list that Trump is not talking about yet. Just because Trump mentioned 6 names doesn't mean that's the complete list. There could be 4 other individuals that he's considering. There could be 6 other individuals. Maybe there are a total of 12 people that he's looking at, and he just mentioned 6. That's very possible. Just because Trump mentioned 6 names doesn't mean that it's only those 6 individuals on his list for consideration. Perhaps Trump is considering Ellis Stefanik. Perhaps he's considering Carrie Lake. Perhaps he's considering someone whose name is not being mentioned yet. Maybe it's somebody else that we haven't talked about. That's very possible. As I keep saying, politics is unpredictable. It's very difficult to know what is on Donald Trump's mind. It's very difficult to know what's on his mind. He may be just keeping his favorite name a secret. Maybe there will be a big surprise going forward. And maybe we'll find out that he's considering someone who's not being mentioned at all. That's very much possible. So if you can think of other names, let me know. Let me know. Other if you have other names that you think, other potential candidates. Anyway, let me point out something else here, okay? Oh, you may be wondering why I'm laughing. Are you wondering why I'm suddenly laughing? Let me point something out here, okay? Do you see how people are talking about who Donald Trump will pick for VP, right? Yeah, right? That's the conversation. I mean, news updates, videos, political pundits on TV talking about who is Trump going to pick as VP. Everyone is wondering who Trump is going to pick for VP, but no one is talking about who Nikki Haley would pick for VP. I mean, she's still in the race. She's still running for president. She has not dropped out. So why is no one talking about who Nikki Haley would pick for VP? A valid question. You've got two presidential candidates, right? Trump and Nikki Haley. Everyone's talking about who Trump is going to pick for VP. Why is no one talking about who Nikki Haley is going to pick for VP? I mean, I think people should, it's a fair question. People should ask Nikki Haley, hey, Nikki Haley, who are you going to pick as your VP candidate? Isn't that interesting? Yeah, you know why? You know why no one's asking Nikki? Well, I shouldn't say no one's asking Nikki Haley. Maybe there are some folks asking Nikki Haley, but I haven't seen any such news reports. Everywhere I see, people are talking about who is Trump going to pick for VP. Everyone understands that Nikki Haley won't be the GOP nominee. I don't see a pathway for her to be the GOP nominee, not in 2024. And if she continues to be in the race like this, she's going to move further and further away from the Trump voters. And then if she wants to run again in 2028, she's going to have a very difficult time getting Republican support. So do you want to know? I mean, I'm curious, honestly. I mean, I'm very, very serious. Okay, I'm not going to laugh now. Okay, see my serious face. I'm very serious. Okay, I'm very serious. Okay, no more laughing. I'm very serious. I want to know who Nikki Haley wants to pick as VP. Okay, I mean, obviously, the fact because she's running, obviously, she still dreams about being the GOP nominee, right? She dreams about winning the 2024 presidential race and being the president. Cat007 is laughing. But really, it's a fair question because, I mean, I'm not going to ask Ron DeSantis or Vivek Ramaswamy who they would like to pick for VP because, they have made it clear they are not running and they have dropped out. So they have exited the presidential race. But Nikki Haley continues to be in the race. So it's a fair question. I want to know, who would Nikki Haley pick for VP? Does she have a short list? I would like to see her short list. Okay? I mean, there must be a short list of VP candidates because she's running. She's still running for president. And so, I want to know who she would like to pick for VP. Now, Terry writes, not Tim Scott. Well, Terry, let me tell you, Nikki Haley, You are right, Terry. Okay. I keep saying that politics is unpredictable, but there are certain things that are very obvious. Okay. Terry is right. Nikki Haley is not going to pick Tim Scott for VP. Well, Tim Scott, being the U.S. Senator from South Carolina, and Nikki Haley is from South Carolina, Tim Scott endorsed Donald Trump. And Terry, let me give you another name, okay? Nikki Haley is not going to pick Lindsey Graham for VP, okay? All right? Not that anyone has mentioned Lindsey Graham's name as VP candidate, but I'm just saying, okay? Nikki Haley of South Carolina is going to pick neither Tim Scott nor Lindsey Graham, both U.S. senators from South Carolina, for VP. Because both those U.S. senators from South Carolina, very wise individuals, very knowledgeable people, very experienced, and, very wise. They both endorsed Donald Trump. Very wise decision. They made the right decision. So, Nikki Haley, if she were to become the GOP nominee in 2024, which I don't think it's going to happen, but if somehow she becomes the GOP nominee in 2024, if she starts winning primaries and caucuses from here on, I don't think she'll pick Tim Scott. I don't think she'll pick Lindsey Graham. Who else might she pick? I don't know. I see Terry is laughing too. We talk about so many serious things, but sometimes, I mean, I automatically laugh whenever I talk about Nikki Haley's campaign for president. What can I do? I see my viewers are laughing too. I mean, we need a little bit of fun and laughter in our lives, right? I mean, we're living in serious times. There's inflation, as I said, global military conflicts, lots of tension, crime. I mean, so many things that make us worried. We need a little humor. And, if anything, I think Nikki Haley, by continuing to stay in the race for the president, Nikki Haley, by continuing to run for president, I think she's giving us reasons to, have a little, humor, right? Political discussion can be very serious, but if we add a little humor to the discussion, it's even more pleasant. So anyway, I don't know why she continues to be in the race, honestly. I mean, I would have hoped. So this brings me to my next topic. Let's talk about what's coming up tomorrow. Terry, do you know what's coming up tomorrow? Anyone else? Cat007, do you know what's coming up tomorrow? February 24th? Anyone else who's listening to this live stream, who's watching me? Do you know what's special about tomorrow? Do you know what's going to happen? Yep. Correct answer, Terry. South Carolina GOP primary. South Carolina GOP primary is going to take place tomorrow, February 24th of 2024. Let me ask you a question, okay? I'm not going to say if it's a difficult question, easy question, trick question. Who's going to win the South Carolina primary? I mean, you don't need a crystal ball. You don't need a crystal ball to answer that. You don't have to crunch numbers. Usually, I look at some polls and survey data before talking about a primary or caucus, but I didn't do that today because I think we all know who's going to win tomorrow. Do you know who's going to win tomorrow? Let me tell you who's not going to win tomorrow. Nikki Haley, in her home state of South Carolina, is not going to win the GOP primary tomorrow. She's not going to win, okay? I'm making a bold prediction here, okay? I'm not using any surveys or statistics or numbers. The question is, will she continue to be in the race if she loses the primary tomorrow? Will she continue to run for president if she loses the primary tomorrow? I mean, she's going to lose tomorrow. It's going to happen, okay? I mean, I don't see, I mean, if you believe in logic and reason, if you believe in the judgment of Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott, I mean, those two wise US senators from South Carolina, they made the decision to endorse Trump. I mean, they didn't have to endorse. There are other members of Congress who are not making endorsements. I mean, it's not mandatory that if you are a US senator or if you are a US House member that you have to endorse a presidential candidate. You don't have to. You could just, sit in the sidelines and not endorse. But those two US senators from South Carolina, they made the informed decision to endorse Donald Trump, knowing that Nikki Haley from South Carolina is running for president. And so, that tells you who's going to win tomorrow, okay? And the question is Nikki Haley going to continue to be in the race if she loses the primary? Terry writes she'll stick until Super Tuesday, March. I don't know what the date is for the Super Tuesday. I should have my phone here. I should be able to look it up. When is Super Tuesday? Give me 1 second. I'm going to look it up here. But I really don't see the point of staying in the race. Give me 1 second here. March 5th, right, Terry? March 5th. Yeah, that's what I saw here. March 5th, Super Tuesday. The only super duper thing about Super Tuesday is going to be that Trump's going to win, win more delegates, right? Terry, do you agree? Super Tuesday is just going to be super for Trump because he's going to win more. He's going to have more victories. My friends, let me know what you think. And, I just want to say this again. I've said this before many times, and I'll say it again, keeping all the humor aside. Nikki Haley is she's a highly successful political figure. She's a highly successful political figure. And that's why I'm kind of shocked to see that she continues to be in the race, defying all logic and reason. I mean, there's no logical, there's no reasonable, there's no realistic pathway for her to become the GOP nominee for president in 2024. So why is she still in the race? She was the governor of South Carolina. She was the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. I mean, she held such prestigious positions. And as I've said before, seriously, I'm keeping all humor aside. I personally know young Republican women here in Wisconsin who see Nikki Haley as an inspiration. Nikki Haley has inspired many young women in politics. Nikki Haley has significant contributions in politics. And so what I am saying is it would be in her best interest, if she wants to have a political future, if she wants to run for president again, if she wants to be a high-ranking office holder in government again, if she wants to run for some, other political office in the future, it would be best for her to drop out of the race and endorse Trump and stay connected with the Trump voters. Because what she is doing by continuing to stay in the race, she's just losing support of Trump voters every single day. So let's fast forward. Terry asked me about 2028. Let's fast forward to 2028. Okay, there's a presidential election. Let's say Ron DeSantis is running again. Okay, let's say Vivek Ramaswamy is running again. Let's say Tim Scott is running again. Let's say Nikki Haley is running again. The Trump voters are going to remember that DeSantis endorsed Trump, that Ramaswamy endorsed Trump, that Tim Scott endorsed Trump. And they're also going to remember that Nikki Haley, in spite of losing primaries and caucuses, she just kept running against Trump. So what do you think those Trump voters will do in 2028? Are they going to support Nikki Haley for president? I don't think so. They're likely to support, DeSantis, Ramaswamy, or Tim Scott. So that's why I say the best thing for Nikki Haley to do would be to just, in a very friendly manner, suspend the presidential campaign, endorse Trump, possibly just appear on the same stage with Trump, be on the same stage with Trump, like Tim Scott was, and just, keep all the differences aside. Just say, for the future of the country, because we have so many challenges we need to address. We need strong leadership. Donald Trump is the person. The voters have spoken. There's overwhelming support. And so just say that and go ahead and endorse Trump. That would be the best thing for Nikki Haley to do. My friends, share with me your thoughts. Let's see. Um, yep. So share with me your thoughts. I don't have much more to add today. I just appreciate the fact that people tuned in um, on a Friday night. I appreciate your time very, very much. I'll try to do another live stream tomorrow. Let me know if Saturday works. I'm not sure about the time. Sometimes I feel that I should be, on a weekend, I may be able to do a live stream earlier in the day also, if that works. I can just try doing live streams at different times and see how that works, because I'm sure that there are individuals who people who have subscribed to my channel, but for some reason maybe they're not able to join at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. Maybe if I do a live stream in the afternoon, maybe other people will be able to join. I don't know. So if there's a time that works for you, let me know. Don't forget to visit my website, tausifanam.net. And also, don't forget to share my videos with your friends, family members, and neighbors. Cat007 writes, keep up the great content. Cat007, thank you so much for your support. Terry, thank you so much for your support, always. And anyone else who joined today, thank you so very much for staying connected with me, for supporting my channel, and please help me spread my word. Share my videos with your friends, family members, and neighbors. Help me get more subscribers, and I will continue to do my best to come before you with more news, more updates, more commentary. So thank you once again. South Carolina primary tomorrow. I'll be eager to see what the results are, right? We are all eager to see the results of the South Carolina GOP primary tomorrow. With that, my friends, thank you so very much. Have a wonderful night, and I'll be back again soon with more videos and more live streams. Thank you. Have a good night.